DPL, okay. Okay, okay, okay. Please, further observations? That's all right, yes. For omissions of names in the attendance or use of wrong titles, we're going to pass a paper around so that you can make your observations there and eventually submit to the National Secretary. My PP, yes.
Item 2.1. Town Planner Professor John Wyndon Guam is a fellow of the Institute, but he's not a past president.
Not yet, sir. Yes. Town Planner Barrister Ogunloye.
Sorry, this is a general comment on the attendance list. They were here by virtue of being a member of Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. So when our names are written, you either put FNITP or MNITP. After the names, I think you have the past president, and then it must be followed by fellows. I think this should be corrected.
Yes, all right. Can somebody move a motion for the adoption of the minutes? Yes. Please, your name and your state chapter.
I, Town Planner Oke Michael Adeyemi, Oyo State Chapter, want to move the motion for the adoption of the minute as corrected.
Any seconder? Okay. Let's pick from this end.
I, Town Planner Dr. Okusun, Senator Endurance from the Kogi State Chapter, so second. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The minutes of the meeting stand adopted. Then we move on to matters arising from the minutes. Okay. So let me hand over the microphone to the National Secretary. The National Secretary.
Thank you, my National President, esteemed colleagues. I want to start with item 5.1, update on NITP Baobari remodeling / main secretariat project. There are 2 buildings currently at the NITP Baobari secretariat. One is the old one, which has been completed around last year. After the completion of the remodeling work, the secretariat has been well furnished. I believe most of us that are visitors to secretariat and also that have attended various meetings at the secretariat have seen the level of furnishing. Like I used to say, it is one thing to build a house. It is another thing to maintain it. So having completed that project, we need to maintain it in good working condition. And then the second building, which is a joint project within club, for that plaster work, and then all the fittings in terms of the cladding, the tiles, is something we are going to celebrate during this AGM, because that was what the contractor or the partners promised us. But due to exigencies of construction, they couldn't complete the project and has the handover of that project. This is also a project I will skip that and go to MCPDP for the year 2025. Yes, we had our MCP in the northern region. The western region, it was held in Oshobo, Osun State. And then in the eastern region, it was held in Oka, Anambra State. The program was well attended. It recorded 1,400 patients of 1,500. Said that we are going to have about one. Then in terms of expenditure, 1,880,000 naira, but the actual, what was actually 700.16 kobo. There is also a proposal by the MCPDP committee for 2026 during the last council meeting. But in terms of proposal for centers for 2026, the MCPDP committee proposed that this year, then for the eastern zone, it will be in Rivers, Port Harcourt, while in the north, Kaduna mentioned were agreed. Okay, sorry, my attention has been drawn to the fact that for the eastern region, rather than Rivers, Port Harcourt, okay, esteemed members of AGM, this is update on matters arising from the minutes of our last AGM.
Thank you very much. Additionally, Council in its latest meeting also approved that the venue of the 2026 International Conference of the Institute will be Lagos, Lagos State. These are the other decisions taken by the Council to the Institute. Consciousness of the indebtedness will henceforth be delisted from the membership of the Institute to be taken by the Council. But since that remains the provision of the Constitution, Council had no better alternative than to agree on that. So hence from this, by the beginning of next year, may first of all be published in the national dailies. And at the expiration of period given for them to redeem that such names be struck off the list of the Institute. Additionally, which is of course similar to what I've just mentioned, paying their members paying, 2/3 of their members paying their fees, the annual dues holds. Yes. Because according to Council, that decision in the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, not your chairman. So we're going to deal with you individually in accordance with the provision of the Constitution. We want to appeal to members. We don't run the Institute with water. So once you stop contributing, you stop, of course, being a member. That's the decision of Council, and it's very important. That's the only two additional decisions taken by Council that you must be aware of, so that tomorrow nobody will ever say from the authentic list.
Idea that our election should now be electronic voting. what has the ESCO done? I'm not sure voting by 2026. Now, on the decision taken, just taking, I think you should clarify. I know the Constitution says by April 30 or March 30, a member should have paid his fee. Now that you want to implement that, if somebody is owing by April 30, and you're going to publish in May, will his or her name stand deleted? Or are you going to do January to December? Is it by December 31st? So members can be clear. And that was, thank you.
Has its own financial year. Years are running. We are growing. We need to grow with the time. So, by His special grace, God bless us. Yes. Town planner.
Thank you very much, the National President and distinguished members. I just want to provide clarification. It's at section 5.4. 2 years. Thank you.
Preceding actions that should be on your state.
Pierre Ronti Oshoko from Ogun State. Within so days or within so months, because the decision we are about to take is a special one, and we must be cautious because some that.
But that will bring some sanity. We even have cases where non-financial members, we should find a way of getting non-financial members out of our AGM. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Our special guest, and of course our member too, the President, Royal Town Planning Institute.
National president, and I've spoken to a few, and some of that those, because I was just before I left the UK, I told in advance.
It's ahead of time. It's ahead of time. It's contained in the Constitution. He reached out to all our members. The only thing that might be a little hindrance, like our colleagues who are outside the country, is getting their current addresses and then email addresses. I want to thank you again for promising to take this message. We may not continue endlessly, taking questions on this matter, because we still have a provision to make a committee.
Thank you, my president. I remain Champanansani Daniel. Mine is Ayet, past NS Ayet. I remember vividly members' data were collated. Because by the
in developing our weapon with a Corporate Affairs Commission, it occurred to us that Town Planner Chief Maduku was still there as a member. So no information could be obtained from him since he no longer lives to update our making the replacement of Board of Governors at that time. One was every other thing in remarks. All through this in the support of the profession and then denying ourselves. We've also done our own little bit. We are shortfalls head and the Zeka, and then implement our operations, especially. So let me go straight on to read my committee of our great institute, October 2024 to September ending 2025. I promise you that the service will continue to be you-oriented. In the course of time, that's all October 2020, during the same period. The National Council meeting took place 6 times within important solutions reached through problems that are the implication of this is that if we had allowed that, there will be no town planners to be inducted into Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. one of the reasons we no longer have geography teachers, right? And if we had allowed geography to continue, it would have been terrible. But I want to thank the council, that is Town Planners Regional Council of Nigeria, for its, and that was one of the gains of living. I look at that as one of the gains of living in peace. Before, practically assessed by its practitioners in line with the practice in other professional bodies. NITP supported the decision to organize a Town Planners Assembly by TOPREC once in 2 years. The maiden edition, organized in 2025, truly provided an in-house assessment of who we are. Some of us were, because we told ourselves in-house, and the results have been wonderful. Thank you. The other one, youth employment.